right. Well, Benji, we're live on Facebook, man. Isn't that crazy?
Man,
Welcome to episode 2.
Technology at its best right here. Technology, man. It's pretty cool stuff.
Look, man, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to do this with you. I feel like we had a lot of really good feedback.
Yeah, we did. You mentioned, we were talking just before we came on that, we had 10 Apple subscribers and
about 10 Apple subscribers, close to 20 on Spotify because people use Spotify more than Apple Music.
Hey, I don't know about that, but I'm an Apple guy. You're a Spotify guy.
For those of you that are listening in, that's a debate that Benji and I have quite often. He is an Apple Music person. I am a hardcore Spotify. I love it. Look, Apple Music still doesn't let you have podcast videos on.
That is true. Now, I will give you that one. I am Apple. If you're listening right now, please give us the video feature for Apple Music.
Yes.
Or Apple Podcast, rather. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, so, for those of you that are watching, not just our audio listeners, those of you who are watching, if you catch me looking off a little bit, I'm just checking out to see, Dale Moore's on right now, giving us a shout out. So,
nice.
I'm just going to kind of see.
Welcome, Dale.
But so we want to thank you guys for doing this. We told you in the last episode, this was just something that Benji's had a dream about for about a year and a half, and we did it. And man, the support was overwhelming. I mean, I had people at the office telling me they listened and love it. I had buddies calling me, said they listened, people at church, even this morning, like, hey, when are y'all doing another one? So I'm excited that we're here. I'm just excited people want to listen to two crazy fools.
Well, think about this. The whole idea is to try to inspire people, and people are tuning in and listening. We're hopefully inspiring you, and you'll want to come back and listen again. So, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Again, thank you for episode 2. Hopefully there's more of many. But today, we're excited. We told you that the whole point of this podcast was to talk about just some topics. Benji and I got together. We developed a couple things. We looked about 5 to 10 different topics we want to hit over the next 5 to 10 weeks. So we're looking at these, but tonight, we want to talk about developing a growth mindset. I felt like, especially for someone like myself, that's a creator, a new entrepreneur, and someone like you, Benji, who's a veteran, I feel like that's a great place to start.
Yeah. Growth is an awesome thing, no matter what, phase of life you're in, no matter what your job is, no matter what, it may be in a sports arena, personally, financially, spiritually, whatever the case may be, growth can apply to anything. And I tell you, today's show is going to be, just stay tuned in because we've got some really neat things coming up. We got
some good ones. We do. So I'm excited about it. So Benji, why don't you start us out a little bit? When you hear growth mindset, before we talk about what that actually is defined as, for you, what does growth mindset mean?
Yeah, I think that, for me and our family, we never want to stay status quo, okay? Because people do get comfortable, they get complacent, and if we as a family, me and my family, are not growing, we have nothing to shoot for. We have nothing to, take to the next level. Let's call it, which goes really well with higher up. Think about this: who doesn't want to grow? No one just wants to. Some people say, they might be working for a paycheck. Well, they are, because they're supporting their family. So if they want to support their family more, they should have a mindset, and probably do, to grow, whether that's moving up in their company or, again, whatever the case may be. And growth to me just means that we're wanting to take the next step, take the next level. And I want to continue to do better. I want to better myself, want to better my family, want to better the people that are around me. And that's, to me, what grow means.
Yeah. And, that's something you and I have, again, our roundtable discussions we have at the office. That's one of the things we talked about so often, is just what growth means. I mean, I've told you before, I'm still trying to figure out exactly, like, what am I wanting to do with everything? One, and never in a million years did I think my life would come back to where I am now. I did video all through high school. I was an AV nerd. I won't deny it. Okay. I enjoyed it. I remember my superlative in my senior year was most likely to have a video camera glued to his hand. so anyway, but
that
then
fits you very well.
It does. I carry it everywhere. But I ended up going to college for recreation management. I started working at the Y. I loved it, enjoyed it, and I'm like, I could make a career out of this. Man, never in a million years did I think I would come full circle. And I'm in digital marketing, content creation, videography, photography. I even, I posted something today that talked about, did you know, why it's so important? It talked about 52% of your guests on Sunday will look at your online content, whether that's your social media, whether that's your Google business, whether that's your website, whether that's your live cast, will look at that before they set foot into your church. So I just never in a million years thought I'd be in a position where I've moved here to where I'm doing that now to help bring people into church, or for our business that we have to bring people, customers and consumers. So, it's a constant growing mindset to be like, how do I get better? How do I do more? Because I had to do that to be able to get to where I am now to do these things.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that? I was just sitting here thinking while you were talking. For those of you that don't know Adam, not only does he not just have one camera, he probably has two wrapped around his shoulder all the time.
I'm trying to convince my wife to let me get the third. I have it saved on my Best Buy app, and I'm like, when's she gonna let me hit that purchase button?
She's just waiting on you to hit the button. Don't do that, Emily might kill us. No, but I was talking to a guy this weekend, and my oldest daughter, as you know, plays softball, school softball, and we were playing the state championship, the American Christian School, Christian School Athletic Association.
Which you are champions, by the way. Let's take a moment before you continue that and just give a shout out to Sammy and the team.
The team did a fantastic job. But I was talking to one of our other coaches, and I come to find out he's a jail keeper. Okay, he is the head of the jail in a certain city here in Alabama. And I was talking to him, and I didn't realize that he was also in politics.
Oh, wow.
And I had no idea. And so I asked him, I said, what made you want to get into that? He said, I'll tell you exactly what it was. At first, I had someone call me several years ago, and he said I was 100% against being in politics because I just didn't know what I was going to get into.
Yeah.
And then a position came open, and it kind of, coincided with what I do as the sheriff's department. And it just made sense. And he said, what I wanted to do, I wanted to see myself grow. I wanted to see myself move to the next level because, people always hear about the bad things of government, right? That's all they ever hear about because, again, social media and all that's pushed that to everyone. But there is a lot of good in government.
Yeah.
And so he said, I want to be able to use my influence to help people that don't really understand what government can do for them and so on and so forth. And I want to grow, and I want to grow myself. So it's very fitting that we're talking about this growth mindset.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, let's to dive into it. We got show notes for y'all. Okay. So we're getting up in here. So look, this is what I found. This is the definition of a growth mindset. It is a belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, dedication, and perseverance. What does that mean to you when you hear it, Benji?
Yeah, think about this. We all, again, have dreams. You just talked about it earlier. You had a dream that you didn't, I don't know if you really had a dream. You were talking about when you were younger, you did video content. Mm-hmm. You've been a gaming guy. I'm not a gaming guy. Adam is a gaming guy. Mm-hmm. But you had a desire to want to do things like that. And it took you down a path of recreational management in your school and so on and so forth. But it came back full circle for you.
Yeah.
So I think that you're believing in yourself and your abilities, the intelligence that the Lord gave you to be able to use those tools for His glory. Look at it. It's proof in the pudding. You developed it. You've worked hard. You're dedicated to it. You go all out. We can always say there's only 100%. There is only 100%, but you go 100 plus 100%.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing because you believe in it. You work hard. You persevere. You're dedicated to it, and the results show for itself.
Well, and I feel like that mindset even kind of fits into where we are today. I know you've got your own media company. You've talked to me forever about being part of it and doing it. And the hardest thing for me was saying, I don't think I want to do that. I don't, and I'm not saying that's a no ever.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
But I was like, I want to see what I can do by myself. And that's the big thing for those of you that are listening. you'll understand that one of the big things with Benji is he's the biggest support, like biggest high, we call it a big cheerleader. That's what if you had a trait, that's what it is. Like you're always constantly thanking people for serving, thanking people for what they're doing, hyping them up, telling them how good they are at it. And so when you do a lot of that, it's like, man, I need to try and do it myself. I need to see if I can. And, it led to that. And it led to me, kind of creating my own little side business, and trying to get that going. And I'm still in the process of it. I'm still working to make it, legal. I'm still working to get a website. I'm still working to develop pricing guides and sheets. And, I can send invoices. Okay. To me, that's the main thing that's important right now. I can send invoices.
You got to get paid for what you do.
But man, I can tell you that's been on my heart for the past year or two. Never did I think I would be here doing it. And I knew I had to continue pushing and persevering to get to this point to do it. And it took a lot of my wife too, just saying, just do it. Just do it.
That's because you have a growth mindset. You want to do what's best. My dad always just tell me, Adam, that he would say, he told me and my brother all the time, what are the 7 P's of success? Okay. And it's very simple. And I never really understood this. You talk about me being a good cheerleader, a good coach. And this is exactly why. He said this: prior, proper planning prevents pitiful, poor performance.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard you and your brother say that.
If those 7 P's of success were done with excellence, prior, proper planning, think about that. Prevents pitiful, poor performance. He challenged me and Brady when he was alive to read a book. I am not a book reader. I don't read books. My go-to is listening to worship music. Okay, yes. I need to get better at it, but I'm
a video watcher.
Well, and that's the thing. It's part of our growth mindset. But think about this. Okay, he told me. He said, "I want you to read this book." And until he passed, I was cleaning out his office and I saw this book laying up on the shelf. And it said The 5 Coaching Habits of Success. And I'll never forget, the words were this big and the book was only that thick. Okay. And so I picked the book up and I read it sitting at the beach with our family while the kids were all swimming. Sarah was sitting next to me and I read this book in like an hour and a half. And it talked about those 5 things. And thanking people is probably at the top of the list. One of the 5. I'm not going to go through the other 4 for time, but thanking people for what they do. And what that does alone, when you thank people, it creates a growth mindset for them that says, man, somebody does believe in me. Somebody sees the work that I'm doing. Someone, they acknowledge the fact that what I'm doing is helping someone else or helping the company or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So that's why I did it.
Yeah. I've heard you talk about that book so many times and just everything it did and everything it changed and the mindset, it changed with it. And, what it is to me, just hearing you talk about those things. And I made some notes earlier when we talked about it, but it cultivates a love of learning.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like that's a strong pillar of a growth mindset. You have to have a cultivated culture and not just the people you're around, but in yourself, constantly learning. People tell me all the time, man, you're always on social media. You're always doing, I'm like, no, I'm absorbing. Like people don't realize that I'm absorbing everything that I see. And it's for me as a creator, it helps me mentally to see what other people do. And I think, okay, how could I do that? How could I reinvent that? How can I change what they did and put my own twist on it and make it that way. So that way I can do it. And, that was one of the goals I had for myself this year. And the past couple of weeks, especially we got to Easter, it got hard.
Oh, yeah.
But my goal was 2 to 3 reels a week. I just want to create, and I don't care if it's picture content from Sunday mornings, video content from our business, if it's of my kids, whatever it is, if it's drone footage, I just want to create something so I can push myself to get better. And I also knew going into it, for anybody that's listening, that's a videographer, I was like, I've got to get to the point where I can record and log. I don't want to do regular. When I went into this year, basically you're recording in a very raw form, and then you have to color grade it. You have to convert it.
We joke about that all the time.
But in my head, I'm like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, starting on January 1st, and I remember it was like the first day in church, I was like, Switched my camera, and I've never changed it back since then. I switched my camera to log. I said, you're either going to get it and you're going to figure out how to edit it, or you're not going to have anything to give. And then you're going to be in even more trouble, because when you're trying to produce stuff, whether it's for work, church, whatever it is, you need to have it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, so I put myself in that position to say, adapt or die.
You believed in the power of what you had learned, and that's what's most important. A lot of people will do all the trying to educate themselves. In your case, social media. Mm-hmm. They try to educate themselves, and then they're like, "Man, I'm never going to be able to accomplish that." Well, it's no different than I tell our girls. By the way, I'm not the head coach. Our head coach is David Littleton. He's a fantastic head coach. He's one of our listeners too. So, David, shout out to you.
But and pastor as well, right?
He is a pastor. He's a pastor.
Not only is he coaching a team to championships, but he's leading a church. And if there's anything that to me is tougher in this world right now, it is leading a church.
But we tell our girls, we're like, if you will change your mindset, don't say I can't hit the ball. I can hit the ball, and I'm going to change it with this at bat. Don't say I can't field the ball. Say I can field the ball, and I'm going to go back to the basics of what I know to do. So, and that creates a growth mindset, because we all get from time to time that negative energy starts to hit, and what can we do to shape that back to positivity? Yeah. And that's ultimately what's most important.
We're going through that same thing right now with our 3-year-old, Gracie. Man, constantly, Dad, I can't do it. Dad, I can't do it. Dad, I can't do it. She loves playing dress up. Just tonight, we finished shower, got done. That girl will put on the most ridiculous outfits. She'll do it herself. But then when we get out of the shower and we're drying off and we're getting ready for bed, Dad, I can't put my pajamas on. And I'm always like, Gracie, we don't say the word can't. Mm-hmm. You can, because you do it all the time. You do it all the time. You change clothes all the time. So I'm trying to cultivate that mindset into them now, that they can't say that word. Right. So
it'll help them down the road. I mean, they will grow into, having positivity in their mindset. And that's ultimately, again, that's what matters the most.
Yeah, definitely. That's embrace the challenge that you're dealing with. Embrace what you're trying to learn from, because look, you can't be perfect. Okay. You can't be like, you can, but to me, that's not a growth mindset. Okay. You can strive to be perfect, but when I hear people say, oh, I want to be perfect, I'm like, yeah, but that means you've reached the pinnacle.
Yeah.
That means that's a 10 out of a 10. That's a 50 out of 50, 100 out of 100. Perfect. You can't go 110. Okay. That's not perfect. That's more than perfect. Perfect means you've got everything right. You've done everything. To me, that's not a growth mindset, because once you have hit the perfection, you have reached the pinnacle. There is no more growing.
That's exactly right.
To me, you should constantly be striving for excellence. Constantly be striving for excellence, because excellence means that you're working to be better every single time. Because once you do something right, then what happens is you got to figure out how to do it even better.
Yeah.
That's excellence, because you are going past that.
I got a great analogy here. And by the way, I'm not going to get emotional. For those of you that think that I might, I will not get emotional. But if you would like to see Benji emotional, wait till Adam posts our very coming soon, let's say, breakdown video at our company.
Oh, yes.
You can find us out there. We'll give you the link later if you'd like it.
Yeah, that'll be coming soon.
But here's the thing. Embrace the challenges. I'll never forget when my father passed away in 2017. Me and my brother, we as we told you guys last episode, we own a large mitigation restoration company here in America. And we were sitting at the table. We had a consulting company. We were sitting at the table. We got back from Houston, where he was at the hospital. Mm-hmm. And where it hit me the most is, I'll never forget, our general manager of our consulting company looked at me and he said, "What's next, boss?" And when he said basically those 3 words to me, my mind shift changed, because I realized that up until this time, my father had been in the seat. Right. Yeah. And he was the one making the decisions. Even though Brady and myself, we're owners of the company, it hit home that now it's, wait a minute, we're looking around going, okay, it is us now. And he said that we had to embrace the challenge of the opportunity at that time, regardless of the circumstances, let's be real, regardless of the circumstances, because what we can't control is what happens in life. We don't know when our time comes. You talked about the dash last week. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if we can embrace the challenge and opportunities to learn and grow, take advantage of the opportunities, that's what will help you take you to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, I mean, you may have kind of pointed out, but that was the first time that was the first time you'd ever heard that you're the boss. Like,
yeah.
You're boss
man.
Yeah.
That's exactly
so
right.
I know for you that you said that was, and look, for those of you, hopefully one day we get to have that man on, but Steve, he sets that tone like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he does it in just everything that he does, because he is someone that's on our team that constantly is striving to grow. I mean, that's the whole, and hopefully you guys will have to watch that video. I don't want to give too much away about it because it was such a great one that we did. But to me, he embodies a growth mindset, because he looked to go somewhere else because he wanted to do more. And luckily the opportunity came for him to do it with our team. So we're still here, but he's like, I want to do more before I retire. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I understand what that feeling's like to say, I want to do those things because I want to grow and have that. And this kind of leads me to our next point, because, and people are going to laugh because I'm sure you hear this all the time. You are who you surround yourself around.
That's right.
You are who you surround yourself around. For those of you that are believers that are listening to this podcast, scripture, iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. I mean, there's no better way than saying it. That's how you grow to have a growth mindset, by being around other people that push you to do more. And it's frustrating. It's hard. You know yourself, like even just our team that sits around, you watch us argue, you watch us bicker, you watch us fight because somebody pushes you to do something that you're not comfortable with, but you can't grow being comfortable.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something and you stay in a place of comfort, you're not pushing yourself to get out of that. So you're not growing. You're not living you're not living that higher up growth mindset lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm good. I like where I'm at. I'm comfortable, and I think that's one of the things we talk about, why you and your brother are so successful with the mitigation company is you never say no to anything.
Yeah.
You always hear it and like, all right, how do we do it? That's growth. And then 2, you're constantly trying to figure out how we can move to the next position.
Yeah.
How we can add a position, how we can do these things to grow as a company.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason of me being a coach, right? I want to surround myself with you, with Nathan, with Nick, with Brian, we could name other withs, part of our team.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys challenge me to be better every single day, even though I will never understand how to program that camera. I'll never understand how Brian does his graphic design. I'll never understand Nathan's audio mind or Nick's, live capabilities and the equipment and the gear. I'll never understand that. But when the Lord gives you a vision to run full speed ahead with, this concept, you got to surround yourself with a team that can make it all happen. And you guys have pushed each other to get better, but ultimately you've pushed me to get better because I'm learning stuff every day. And I never in a million years thought that, I would be doing this. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, how are we going to grow? To your point, we have to surround ourselves with people. Our pastor talks about this, Pastor Rick, we got connect groups. And he said the other day, he said, he said, I just don't know if we have a lot of people joining connect groups this semester. And I said, I think you're wrong, Pastor Rick. I think we have a lot, but let's do this. What if we launch an online group? And maybe it gives people an opportunity that can't go to a group during the week. Let's take all the guesswork out. And the group is filled up. So, Adam, you can sign up for my group. But anyway, I
told you of all days, you had to choose Tuesdays. It's like my busiest day of the week. It's like the one day that I've got meetings all day. And I'm not even at the office with you. I'm at the office with your brother. I'm like, 5 days in a week.
But surrounding yourself with people around you to help make you better, support that growth mindset and challenge you to get better, challenge you to improve, and we all get better.
Well, and it's all in, you really got to look at who your friends are.
Yeah.
And look, man, here's my thing. Right now, if you're looking at your phone and there's somebody in your phone that does not make you better or push you to be better, you should delete them right now.
I agree.
There's no reason to surround yourself with those people. Look, negativity in people finds the smallest crack and it will infiltrate you.
Feed like gas on a fire.
Like a cancer, it will take over. And I think that's one of the things why, you talk about it in one of the videos we produce for the mitigation business. You've talked about those things that, some people don't fit our culture. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
It's just like we tell people all the time, we hope that you make our church your home. But if not, there's a great church down the road. And it's not anything negative.
Yeah.
Like maybe you don't like the music. Maybe you don't like the pastor, the way he speaks, Those are all things that are okay.
Maybe the bathroom smells bad.
Maybe the bathroom. I hope, listen, I hope y'all clean your bathrooms. But yeah, maybe you're just not into it. Like maybe you don't care for things like Awana. We have Awana. I love the fact that we have Awana. My daughter knows more about scripture than I ever did at her age.
You're right.
Because she's involved in those things. And so those are all things that you do surrounding yourself with that. And, shout out to my guys and bros and barbells. I've worked out with these guys. We started, it was a small group when we attended another church before Benji somehow convinced us to come to the church that we're at now.
I want to surround myself with people better than me. I mean,
hopefully Pastor Brandon's listening so that way he can make some comments.
We love you, Pastor Brandon. We do love you. We love you, man. Both Brandons. Both Brandons.
Yes, both. But, we've gone through a lot. We've had, where guys are working, things are going through their life, they're doing them. But I feel like we still stay consistent on going to the gym, and it sucks. I'm just the only way I can say it. If I could use other words for it, I would. It sucks. Because the only time of day I have to go is in the morning.
Yeah.
And because I'm not willing. Early. Now, look, I just convinced my wife to let me do some changes. So I actually get to start the gym at like 4:30 versus, 3:45, 4. So it's been nice. But my point is, without those guys, like the Jeremys, the Marks, and the Powers, those guys every day, if they weren't going to be there, I promise you I would not have been able to get myself up in the morning and go. And I would be a lot fatter than I am now. I'm a chubby dude. I enjoy food. I feel like I work out just so I can eat. But
they've challenged you. They've challenged you to get better.
And not even just that, but we have conversations. And that's what I'm saying. Like surrounding yourself with that, it's such, to me, there's almost nothing else in a growth mindset more important to the people you have around you, because you can't grow by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. You really can't. And so by having them, we talk about our faith. We talk about the things that we struggle with as husbands, the things that we struggle with as fathers, the things that we struggle with just being friends with each other sometimes. And so we talk about the things that we struggle with.
Are you saying that guys have 8 personalities? Especially at the gym.
Oh man. But what's really funny is I guarantee you, all jokes aside, everybody that goes to that gym probably thinks we all hate each other. Like they're like, why do these guys work out? They make fun of each other more than anybody else in the gym, and we're not quiet about it. So, but I feel like sometimes that is the most important thing. And look, connect groups are hard, small groups, whatever it is that you're, maybe the church that you attend or does that. My thing is find that circle of people. I feel like we've got a couple more points to talk about with growth mindset, but there's any other point that we talk about. To me, this is the most important. We are not meant to do life alone at all. We are not. And look, and that more than anybody, Benji, I enjoy being alone. I am a loner. Look, Friday night comes or whatever. My wife has girls' nights during the week. She does these things for me. I just want to come home sometimes, work on a video, edit some pictures, play some video games, but I also know that I can't live my life like that every day. Yeah. So, and it's not just growth business, it's growth in general as a man, as an entrepreneur, as a believer.
Right. Well, you don't want to be like you just don't want to be a hermit. I mean, you can't because what happens is when you end up locking yourself in, the negativity sets in. Then you remember what Susie, Johnny, whoever told you, and you let that crack in. You talked about a minute ago. So being around people that can uplift you, that can you can surround yourself with to be positive to you, for you, with you, can take you a long way and ultimately grows you, and that's what we're doing.
And it can go a long way being around those people. And, this is something that we tell you all the time. Like, I feel like we recently have told you before because we joked and told you that we could draw something in crayon. And you're like, oh, my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
You know why I say that? Because it's better than what I would have done.
Probably. Look, for those of y'all that are listening, it is so hard when you can tell Benji worked hard on something and he sends it to you and you're like, bro.
Yeah, but I can promise you, those names that I mentioned a while ago are the first to tell me it's horrible.
We try to be. But having those people around you, I think, is also important because you need to learn from that criticism. Like, I hope Nick listens to this because he and I are like oil and water. Like, we are. Like, we're friends, but we're oil and water. But I think a lot of times, and he and I talked about this, I think a lot of times the reason that it's so hard for him and I to see eye to eye is because one thing he's good at is telling you suck at something and you should be better at it. And he doesn't say, and it's not what he says. Like when you have me, he's not like, hey, but my point is like, he's very good at telling you that you need to be better at something. And the thing is, if you can't accept criticism, you will not grow because you have to be able to accept that. You have to be able to say, and it sucks. It hurts. It stings, especially if it's something that you poured. Like I'm telling you what, man, if I worked on a video for hours on end and I sent it and you guys are like, but here's the thing. I would rather you tell me that than me put out something that's lower than what I'm capable of doing. And that's my point about accepting that criticism because it's what, when we have those conversations that hurt and that sting, those things are what's going to challenge me to be better and improve.
It's true though. I mean, I'll never forget the one video you did. I don't know what the heck you did, but it was a photo. It looked like a photo of me, and the video, these colors were in the center of the screen. All of a sudden, one went this way, one went that way, one went that way.
It was a trend.
All the colors came through. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, all the guys loved it that he sent it to. But I'm thinking to myself, how in the world can I do that? And then my next thought was, I'm never going to do that. So I was like, I'm not even going to attempt it because there's no way. I'm sure I could do it one day, but that's not my desire. That's Adam's desire. That's what he enjoys doing.
Well, and it's so good because one of the things that's been really cool about this past year, I've gotten to work a lot more with your brother.
Yeah.
The man scares me to death. And I've gotten to work with him a lot more, but we had a conversation the other day.
Tell you the same thing I told Steve. Spend more time with him.
I have. We were supposed to go to Houston last week, and I'm kind of sad we didn't because I don't think I've ever really spent time outside of him other than like when we've gone to like big team things and stuff. So, but he called me last week and was talking to me about a project that he's working on. It's a huge project. It's probably going to take a year and a half, but it's going to be awesome. And he was like, all right, I need you to do this, this, and this. I was like, all right. And he's like, and I need you to teach somebody to film. And I'm like, what do you mean teach me to film? He's like, well, we've got such and such we're hiring for this position. You need to teach them to film. And I'm like, Brady, it doesn't work like that. And he was like, yeah, it does. He's like, of course it does. And I'm like, no, Brady. I was like, it doesn't. Like, I can't just hand somebody camera and expect them, no matter how much I teach them, they have to have a passion, a love, and an eye for it. I can't just hand them a camera. And look, if people are listening, if it's controversial, let me know. But
I can assure you that doesn't work because he tried that with me. It didn't work.
It doesn't work. And he was like, Adam, look, I need you. This is where you're going to have to grow. You're going to have to learn to teach people to do things that you're good at. I'm like, so I was like, all right, Brady. I was like, I'm going to have to, I was like, I don't know why I said to him, but I'm like, I'm going to have to teach you how to grow. And he was like, okay, I'm listening. And he was like, I said, okay, you lead worship, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't lead worship. It's not who I am. We're both creators in our own mindset, right? Do you think you can hand me a guitar and teach me to lead worship? He's like, yeah, I can hand you a guitar and teach you how to play. I said, no. I didn't say teach me to play. Can you hand me a guitar, spend time with me, and teach me to lead worship effectively?
Did he tell you to watch YouTube?
He didn't. He got quiet. That's where I was like, oh no, I just messed up. I was like, but he got quiet and he was like, I see your point. And so I was like, I had to go change my shirt because I was sweating. But it's those moments where, but my point is like, we each kind of criticized each other professionally. And I think this is one of the first times like I felt like, I can't believe I'm kind of saying this to him. And he was like, no, I got you. You're right. And it was like, he took that. And that's what I'm saying. Like he has that growth mindset, but that's also why he's successful. And that's why you and him are successful in the fields that you're in as entrepreneurs, because you take those things in, and no matter how much your mind is set on it, if you take the advice of the others that you have positioned around you, whether that's your leadership team, your management team, or even down to the people that are hourly paid, you guys have always been good at listening to those things. And that's the reason why our team's at where we're at, and in all aspects of life.
Yeah, and it's not just this. This is for another episode. We're going to talk about culture, down the road. But a growth mindset, says I do want to surround myself. We've talked about that. And to your point, sometimes it takes us challenging people that are in our circle to be better. And the only way to do that is to bring it up. Now, there is a way to bring it up without offending someone, and how to, overstep your bounds, so to speak, and just say you suck. You don't do it that way.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to, taking us into our next point, you got to be able to celebrate your own progress. You got to be able to celebrate the progress of other people. To your point,
yes,
I am very, very encouraging when it comes to, hey man, that was great. I'll never forget. I had a quick story. Sarah, my wife, she's very good at photography too, and
taught me so many of the things that I do. Many of the things came from her.
She's done a lot of senior pictures lately, and they're fantastic.
They're great.
And if she was to hand me a camera and go, hey, go take these pictures, she would probably just grab it back really quick, because it's just not my personality. But that's why God's made us all different. God's given us all different desires. But again, celebrating other people's progress, celebrate your own progress. And again, there's a way to do that without flaunting it too, because you don't want to be that person that's, hey, I'm better than you. You're, always promote other people above yourself.
Yes, you have to celebrate what other people are doing. And especially in my field, as a content creator, I struggle with looking at what other people are doing, and comparison is a thief, 100%. And I am the worst for comparing myself to it. I see things, even other people in our own industry, in our mitigation business, that I see them do videos, and I'm like, I could do that better than them. I know it. And I'm like, but that's something I've got to get past, and I've got to do that. What I should be doing is be like, dang, that's a good video. Y'all did a good job. Like that is immediately where my mindset should go. Yeah. Even in the content world, so many people are like, it blows my mind. I see some buddies of mine that are big content creators. I'm talking like over 10, 15, 20,000 followers. Like they have a lot of people following them. And the negativity that the things that they post brings, it blows my mind. Keyboard warriors that hop on here and like even some of the stuff that I posted a reel this past week, just showing the pictures that I take on Sunday. That thing took me an hour to 2 hours to do for a 15-second reel. Yeah. And it blows my mind, the people that will hop on, seeing what other people create and immediately tear it apart. That's what I joke with you and Nick a lot, that I will not post anything that we do. And it's terrible, and I'm going to say it. But some of the church groups are some of the worst in the world for it. They are the absolute worst in the world for people putting their heart out there and putting the things that they create, and then people tearing it down. I don't understand it. To me, that's not growth of yourself. You need to be able to look at those things and admit it so you can grow as well. Being like, that's a good job.
I think what it is, though, people get this mindset it's not a growth mindset. It's the negativity mindset that they want to tear down someone else's work because they're jealous of what they do.
Yeah.
And that's not the right
So
thing.
learn to do it.
That's
where
exactly
it
right.
is. Like, and that for me, that's where my driving is. I believe that I have a growth mindset, because my thing is the video you were talking about, the squares, and it started black and white and they spread out, and then I pulled the colors. I spent time, I saw somebody doing it. I'm like, man, I want to learn how they did that. And I spent a Friday night and I figured it out.
Yeah.
I was like, they've got to, I knew in my mind the small things they did to create that stuff. And I'm like, I bet if I do this, this, and this. And then somebody was good enough to post a video explaining the different things they did. So I took those small basics and then created it. And then that immediately what I should be doing, like when you should be leaving reviews about when you have, when you go somewhere, like I need to be better about those things. But I was like, hey, this is great. Thanks for showing this. Again, providing support rather than focusing on what you can't do and bringing those down. So celebrate that not just your own progression, but celebrate the progression of other people.
We can control what we can control, and that's praising other people for their work.
Yes. I think that's a big thing and some of those stuff. So, so I know we're getting close to our ending here, and I'm taking a minute to make sure there's nothing we missed and looking over, but the biggest thing I want to leave you with, and this is just me, and I'll let you have your closing point. Developing a growth mindset takes time. It takes time and effort. Time and effort. To me, that's honestly anything you do. Time and effort. Your business will not grow overnight. Your skill set will not grow overnight. I mean, for me, video, I've been working on this skill set since I graduated high school in 2002. Like I've been working on it since then, and I still am behind. Like I know so those are big things, but I feel like if you understand that and you realize that growth mindset takes time and it takes effort, it's going to lead to more success, to you being fulfilled.
Yep.
Which is what higher up means, living to have a fulfilled life that you are happy. To me, that's my definition of higher up.
I like it.
Is living a higher up means I'm happy, I feel fulfilled, and I'm successful. And here's my thing. I've said this to you before. My success is only measured by one, my Lord and Savior.
That's right.
What he thinks about things I do, and my family. What I want to make sure, what the legacy I leave for my girls and for my wife. Those, to me, like everybody else in the world could think what I create looks stupid.
Yep.
Looks ridiculous. They could chop it up. But if my kids love it, I mean, what's funny is Addison, before she walked in, she's like, Dad, good luck on your video. She's like, good luck on your video tonight.
See, that's positivity.
Exactly. She's like, good luck talking to Mr. Benji. Will you tell him I said, hey? And then she was like, if you share it online, I hope a lot of people like it and share it.
See, that is a growth mindset. She's even
seven,
at her,
saying
I was going to say,
things.
7 years old, she's got it figured out. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That goes to show what you and Emily have done too, to help the girls. That's
well,
awesome.
a lot of it comes from, I feel like the church that we're at, again, the people she surrounds herself around. I mean, she does a lot with you guys and your family. And I mean, just like, even just Upward Soccer. I mean, she's surrounded by constant positivity. I mean, even her coaches, like, Garrett Proper's one of her coaches, and every time she does something, he's the first person to, if she misses or she doesn't do something, he's the first person to always, you can hear it from across the field. He's always the first person to make some comment, a positivity toward her, no matter if she missed, if she did something wrong, if she did something right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look, what do you feel like just leaving people with tonight? Just looking at this as a growth mind. I mean, to me, this is you as a business owner. You have obviously lived this your entire life with where you are. So as a veteran entrepreneur, why don't you let me know kind of where you feel at?
Keep driving, keep pushing forward. Don't look back. My brother talks about this all the time. There is a rear view mirror in your car for a reason. And that mirror is this size, but the windshield in front of you is this size. Always be looking ahead, because if you want to have a growth mindset, you cannot focus on where you've come from. Yeah. You can't focus on you have no control how you were brought into this world. Okay. You don't have the Lord did that through your mother and father. And that's all you can control. Okay. Yeah. What you can control is how you take what you said, time, effort, energy, Sometimes it takes finances, depending on if you're trying to buy a business or,
Yeah.
move up, whatever the case may be. Keep pushing forward. Don't look at setbacks, because setbacks will only cause those negative thoughts in your mind to help push you backwards, essentially, and they don't propel you to move forward. And that's hopefully this has inspired you to have a growth mindset and push forward in everything that you do. And ultimately, you let the Lord take control. He will do his job.
Well, Benji, you ended that with a great reel. I'll be excited to create one with that one. But yes, man, that's good. Y'all just keep pushing. Get out of your comfort zone, seek new challenges, find things that make you better. Find a skill set you didn't think you were going to do, and push yourself to learn it. And when I say push, I mean make sure it's do or die, adapt or die, like no turning back.
Yeah. One quick story. You mentioned this before we came on today. Michael Jordan himself, 8th grade basketball team. The guy was cut from his middle school team, and he told his father, I'm going to make the team. The guy goes on to North Carolina, wins a national championship, goes into the professional world, NBA, and becomes probably the greatest basketball player even today of our era, probably in history. Wins 6 NBA titles in an 8-year span, and the only reason why he didn't win probably number 7 and 8 is he took a 2-year hiatus and came back. But the guy took it. He said, I'm not going to let that setback take me backwards. I'm going to push forward. I'm going to prove to people that I can do this with help from the above Almighty and my family and anyone that's around me, my team, my coaches. And I'm going to continue to speak positive in someone's life. And look where it took him.
Leaps and bounds, man. He's basically a culture icon. I mean, we can debate all we want with LeBron and Jordan, but either way, hit like the new movie that he's got coming out about when his Air Force or his first Jordans, culture changing.
Yeah.
And to go from somebody that got cut to obviously changing everything, time and effort is what it took. So. Well, Benji, hopefully people got a lot out of episode 2. I'm excited. We're trying to get these out as quickly as we can. Here's what we need you guys to do for us. Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Okay. Share it. Please share it. We're trying to have a couple reels out each week just to kind of give you some talking points so you can listen in. But look, leave us a review on Spotify. You can go and just like that one. All you gotta do is click the button. Okay. Spotify, they make it simple. Just click the button, say you like it, 5 stars, you're good to go. But on Apple, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave a review, write what you like. And then if you are listening on Spotify, we're going to have some questions, some Q&A at the bottom. What are some other topics? I mean, Benji and I have taken some time to develop those, but if you got something that you feel like we should discuss and you feel like we're good enough to discuss that topic, we'll toss it in.
And also look, if you want the video, we got it on YouTube too. Check it out on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. My daughter always talks about that. Hit the notification button.
She needs to be our social media manager. That's what it is. So she probably knows more about getting people to follow her than I do, even though I work in it. So
she had a secret YouTube for a while. I need to tell you about that.
That's a story we have to share because I still remember you bringing that up. So. But hey, look, we hope that you continue this week. Go live a higher up lifestyle. Find that growth mindset. Make this part of your week. How can you grow in that? And what can you do to kind of change those in your own life? Where can those things go that you know you can grow more?